translations. We will be discussing the poem, The Right Word. This is technically part 2, so be sure to check part 1 where I do the line by line analysis in the previous video. In this video, we will be going over the theme, tone, diction, and imagery. But first of all, let's read the poem. So, outside the door, lurking in the shadows, is a terrorist. Is that the wrong description? Outside that door, taking shelter in the shadows, is a freedom fighter. I haven't got this right. Outside, waiting is in the shadows, is a hostile militant. Are words no more than waving, wavering flags? Outside your door, watchful, in the shadows, is a guerrilla warrior. God help me. Outside, defying every shadow, stands a Imagery. I saw his face. No words can help me now. Just outside the door, lost in the shadows, is a child who looks like mine. One word for you. Outside my door, his hands too steady, his eyes too hard, is like a boy who looks like my son too. I open the door. Come in, I say. Come in and eat with us. The child steps in and carefully at my door takes off his shoes. It's quite a bit of a long poem. Anyways, let's discuss the themes. The theme of this poem is power of language. The poem highlights how the words we use aren't just labels. They contrast our perception that creates artificial barriers between human beings. Prejudice versus emptiness. Dharker explores how we instinctively judge and fear the unknown. The ultimate theme is that overcoming prejudice requires looking past sociality labels and recognizing our shared humanity. The third theme is connection. The reoccurring motif of the door symbolizes both the division and the opportunity to connect. Opening the door signifies the choice to be vulnerable and welcoming. The tone. Very important to remember that the tone is the attitude of the poet. The poem's tone undergoes a profound evolution. It begins in a state of alarm, suspicion, and fear due to the dangerous words chosen to describe the intruder. As the speaker questions her own judgments, the tone becomes reflective, hesitant, and uncertain. Finally, upon realizing the person is just a child, the tone shifts to a warm intimacy and gentle compassion. So very important to remember, just like how there are many themes in the poem, there can also be many tones, as the first half of the poem is more suspicion, fearful, and dangerous, but towards the end of the poem, the tone is much more warm, intimate, and gentle with compassion, showing the real effects of human emotions. So the diction, when we talk about the word diction, diction is just another word for the word choices. It basically means what words have been chosen to be used in this poem. So they use a very specific contrasting choice of words to show how a single person can be perceived in drastically different ways. So the words such as terrorist, hostile militant, and guerrilla warrior are harsh and violent labels, invoking fear and negative connotations. Reflected neutral labels, such as the word tourist, freedom fighter, and martyr, shows how perspectives can edit the story we tell. So these are much more relaxed words being used in the poem. Just for clarification, this word means a person that is willing to die for his or her beliefs. So basically, in religion, someone that is willing to die for their religion in terms of converting. They would rather die than convert. A freedom fighter is basically a person who fights for freedom. The other words that are used in this poem that create a more soft and humanizing label are the words such as son and child. The soft language contrasts sharply with the earlier aggressive labels, being the situation to a deeply personal and vulnerable level. So in the diction, obviously the tone of the diction that is being used, the tone of the words, Morse is shifts throughout the poem. So at first it's much more violent and vigorous, and then it cools down to a more suppressed tone within the diction, and then obviously in the last leading paragraphs it's much more humble and subtle. Lastly, the imagery. So the word imagery basically means the picture that is being painted in your mind whenever you hear the poem. So basically, what is the image in your mind being told? What is the story being told in your mind whenever you are reading or hearing this poem? So the words such as the shadows. Initially, the person outside is being described as watchful in the shadows, evoking a sinister, unknown, and threatening image. As the poem progresses, the shadow blurs into vulnerability when he is described as lost in the shadows, morphing the threat into a picture of someone who needs help. The flags. The speaker compares words to a wavering flag, provoking the vivid imagery of instability. It illustrates how words' meaning can change and bend depending on the speaker's viewpoint. Lastly, the child, the final image of a boy, a child who looks like a man, is a tender and visually intimate that strips away the armor of political and social labels, forcing the reader to visualize innocence and shared family love. Whenever we are analyzing a poem, it is very important to know the theme, tone, diction, and imagery. And that's all for this video. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.